welcome to Simply Fun Cooking. I am Rachel Hanson and I am super excited because today I am going to share some recipes with you that are perfect for being made at home. I know a lot of us are still at home, we're doing a lot of cooking, and we're missing some of our favorite foods. So I've got some really fun things for you guys to try today. And I hope you enjoy them as well. We're going to start out this morning with some breakfast. We're going to make some homemade jam. We're going to make some homemade granola to make some yogurt parfaits. Then we're going to move on to a little bit of fun lunch/dinner foods. You know, maybe you're missing going out, having some bar food, some chicken wings and some fried pickles. So we're going to make some of those. And then for dessert, we're going to make some strawberry cheesecake. So these are all very, very quick, easy, and simple recipes that you really can make at home. So we're going to start with our jam. We're going to make a berry jam today in the Deluxe Cooking Blender. It is so easy. There's a jam setting. We're just going to dump everything in, press the button, set it aside, and let it do its magic. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off with about a pound of berries. You can use any kind of berries you'd like. You can use fresh, you can use frozen. I just have a couple of bags of frozen berries here. You can use all of the same kind of berry. You can mix it up with some mixed berries. So we're just doing some mixed berries here. We're going to put those in. So this is about a pound of berries, and then we're going to take some fruit pectin. This is what gives jams and jellies that gelatinous feeling. So we need about 2.5 teaspoons. Nope, 2.5 tablespoons. So there's 1, 2, and then half. All right, now depending on what kind of fruit you are using, you might need to add a little bit of water. Strawberries have a lot of water in them, so if you're using fresh strawberries, you don't need to add water. If you're using raspberries, they can tend to be a little bit drier, so you'd add a little bit of water. But with this frozen fruit, we know that there's a lot of liquid and juices in frozen fruits, so I'm just going to leave it as is. We're going to put the lid on, and we're going to put this on the blender base here, and we're just going to turn this to the jam setting. This is one of our heated settings. And it is going to blend, it's going to cook, it's going to mix, it's going to do everything for us right in the blender. So that's what it's going to do for a little while. It's going to mix periodically, it's going to heat up, it's going to keep going. Now, this is going to come up to about 220 degrees, and then it's going to beep at us. And when it's time, we're going to add in some sugar. Now, jams and jellies have a lot of sugars for a couple of reasons. One, we love the sweetness, so we're going to put about 3 cups of sugar in here. But also, when you can your jams and your jellies, all that sugar makes it a tough environment for bacteria to grow. So that is how you get jams and jellies that you can and you can save and you can put on your shelf and keep for a while. So we're going to set this aside and we are going to move on. We're going to get our cheesecake started next so that can start cooking. We're going to make a nice plain cheesecake, and then in a little while we're going to make a strawberry topping to go on top. Amazingly simple and easy. Cheesecake is one of those recipes that people think is really complicated, but when you're using the quick cooker or pressure cooker, it doesn't have to be. So we're going to start with a homemade crust, and in the manual food processor, we're just going to take some graham crackers, and I'm sure a lot of us have some graham crackers left over from the summer, from campfires. So we're just going to take some graham crackers and we're going to crush them up in here so that we have about 3/4 of a cup of crumbs. Now we do have measurements on the side here somewhere. Bum, bum, bum. There they are. So here's 3/4 of a cup is about here. So I'm just gonna start with what we have here for graham crackers. So we have a little less than a cup here, so we are right at about 3/4 of a cup. So I'm just gonna make sure it's nice and finely chopped up. And then to our crust, we're going to add about 2 tablespoons of sugar. All right. Mix that in a little bit. And then 2 tablespoons of melted butter. So we can just pour that right in. And then use the manual food processor, mix that all around. All right. And then you can see you've got that consistency of a nice, simple graham cracker crust. So we're going to take that, and we've got our small springform pan. This goes right inside the quick cooker. Super easy. So we're going to use this and take our graham crackers. Just go ahead and dump that in the bottom, and then use your fingers, or you can use a scraper and just kind of press it down. So try to make it nice and even, but if it's not perfect, that's okay, because it's going to be covered with the topping and nobody will know. All right, so you see we've got that all pressed in there. Pretty quick and easy. We'll set this aside for now. And then the filling, we're going to start with 2 blocks of cream cheese, softened, and I just put them in the microwave just to soften them up a little bit more. All right, so to our 2 blocks of cream cheese, we are going to add a tablespoon of cornstarch, and we're going to add a teaspoon of vanilla. All right, then we need 2 eggs and a 1/2 cup of sugar. And then a 1/2 cup of sugar. All right, we're going to just mix all this together. You want to give it a real good mix, make it nice and smooth. Now, if you wanted to flavor your cheesecake, if you wanted to put some cocoa in here, you wanted to swirl in some fudge, chopped up cookies, any of those things that you might want to add right inside your cheesecake, this would be the spot to add it. This would be the time to do so. Otherwise, like I said, we're going to make a strawberry sauce that's going to go on top, and we're going to make that right in the quick cooker after the cheesecake is done cooking. So once we have our filling all mixed up, and after we have this all mixed, I'm just going to pour it right in the springform pan, right on top of that crust. So we'll just pour this on top. Now with this, we're going to take, we have the little silicone cover. You can cover this with foil. I prefer to use the little silicone cover, and put that right on there. And we're going to take the little rack here, plop that in. Now inside the quick cooker, we have, inside the stainless steel bowl, we've got the little rack that the cheesecake's going to sit on. And I have in there about 1 cup of water. That water, of course, you need because things in your pressure cooker cook with steam. So you need somewhere for that steam to come from. So that is what the water is for. So then we're just going to carefully take that cradle, put our cheesecake right inside, put that inside our quick cooker, and we're going to put the lid on. And then from here, all we're going to do is turn this to the dessert setting, right down there, and press start. Now this is going to come up to pressure, and then it's going to cook for 40 minutes, and then we're just going to let it rest for a few minutes. We'll take that cheesecake out, and then making that strawberry sauce is super quick and easy. We make it on the sear setting right in the bottom of the quick cooker. Our blender just beeped, so we've got our berries and our pectin in here, it is time to add the sugar. So we are going to add 3 cups of sugar. So we're just going to take the little plastic cap off the top, and we're going to carefully add 3 cups of sugar through the lid. Now, like I mentioned, sugar, when you are making preserves, sugar helps preserve that jelly and that jam so that you don't have bacteria growth. Bacteria cannot grow in a super sugary environment. Say that 10 times fast. That's a tough one. So this is what gives it that really great sweet flavor and keeps it, I was going to say healthy. Healthy in that there's no bacteria. All right. So once we have our sugar added, we're just going to go ahead and put the lid back on here. And we're just going to press the button again, and it's going to finish making that jam for us. We are going to get these chicken wings ready. These are super easy. So we've just got, we want to start with about 1 pound of chicken wings. And these are defrosted, and I've dried them off with a paper towel just to get some of the moisture off. And what we're going to do is we're going to sprinkle them with some baking powder. You need about a teaspoon or 2. We're just going to sprinkle that on top. And then we're going to add some salt and pepper. Only need a little bit. All right, and then we're going to go ahead and give these a mix. Works really well if you just use your hands and mix those around. And you'll have to kind of judge as you make these. Sometimes you want to add a little more baking powder, sometimes a little more salt and pepper. I'm looking at these and thinking a little more baking powder would be good. The baking powder is what's going to give them that nice crispiness when we put them in the air fryer. We have a nice crisp outside, nice juicy insides. So then, after you have the baking powder and the salt and the pepper, all we need to do is line them up on one of the trays for the air fryer. A bit of space so I can get some air around them. We're just going to slide these trays in, and we're going to turn this to the air fry setting and adjust the time to 30 minutes. All right, so we're going to get that started. Now, while that's going, we're going to get our pickles ready to go, and we're going to add those in. We've got another tray for the pickles, plus there's a little bit of room on one of those trays with the chicken. The pickles are going to take about 16 to 18 minutes on the air fry setting. So now that we've got the chicken started, that can get going and cooking, and we'll get the pickles ready and we'll add those in. We're going to start out with just some simple dill pickles, and we are going to put those in a bowl, drain off as much of the liquid as you can, but we're going to need some of that pickle juice. So if you're using a jar and you're using it up, do not get rid of that pickle juice. You're going to need a little bit of that for the dip we're going to make to go with these. So on top of our pickles,